Welcome back, all you Fabricants and Fleshbags, to the not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in pop culture media, and that's, of course, TV shows, movies, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. I am Mo de Poupée, resident fabricant and comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. Ladi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Like I said earlier, I just finished having a nerdgasm watching Bleach, but calm down so I can do this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, that's your nerd thing that you've been up to. I think, gosh, me and you have been going back and forth about my computer upgrades. Me trying to get my computer upgraded on the cheap so I can play Street Fighter later on next year. Uh, finally settling on some of that stuff. And of course, man, dude, there's so much stuff going on, like in terms of nerd stuff, but uh, we'll talk about that another time. But we're gonna talk about superheroes as always, as we do on the Supercast. On this, the 75th episode of the Supercast, and this is officially Black Panther: Wakanda Forever week. Big things happening in the world of superheroes, and Marvel in particular. We've heard a lot of good things about it. We are both going to go see it this week, and we'll have plenty of that to talk about next week. But in the meantime, we're going to cover all of this news. There's some happenings in the world of superhero media, movies, and such. For instance, we got some casting news coming out for two upcoming projects. One of them is Agatha Coven of Chaos. So we got some moves there. And also for Across the Spider-Verse that comes out next year. It's some big, potentially huge things going on with Across the Spider-Verse. We hear from James Gunn about what they're focusing on at DC as he's taken over and as a co-CEO over there. And he tries to reassure some fans. Speaking of DC, we're going to talk about what are the chances that they release the Ayer cut, especially because they dropped a little bit of footage online, and a bit of speculation and kind of opinion bit. Can they and should they, DC, make an R-rated Superman? Does that make any sense? So that's everything we're going to talk about today. So. So Lottie, let's go ahead and jump into this.
Yeah.
Coven of Chaos is for Agatha Harkness, her spinoff from WandaVision. And I would like to say a very well received new character for Phase 4 of Marvel. Everyone kind of wanted to know what's she about. We got a little bit of her past, how where she's from, Salem, and all that other stuff. And we also know that she, last we checked, was stuck, thanks to Wanda, and she's stuck in the town. No magic, I guess, can get her out. So we don't really know what Coven of Chaos is totally about, but we do know they have been making moves in terms of their casting. A lot of moves actually over the last week. So they seem to be staffing up with Eric Andre has joined. He's a comedian, but they've also they've got someone said that the guy might be Wiccan, and I don't know. I don't know this character. I'm not the character. I don't know this actor's name. But they're talking about possibly bringing in Wiccan. Who's supposed to be the teenage version of, of Wanda's son that, can do her magic like she can. Then we have Sashir Zameda, who is a comedian, which is weird they got comedians coming on, but Sashir Zameda, who's a comedian that's from SNL, coming on. And a couple other names that I'm not really sure of. So we don't know who these people are. We just know that they're adding more people to this show, and it's set to begin filming next year. Lottie, I might have a real question. They're adding comedians, because Eric Andre is a comedian. What does that kind of indicate to you, maybe about the direction that this show is going in? And are you personally excited about seeing more Agatha?
I will withhold judgment the more and more I see of it, because um is this supposed to be a prequel or or
We
a
don't know.
sidequel?
That's the thing. We don't know. I'm going to presume it's a little bit of both. I want to say probably both. We're probably going to see what's happening after she's kind of locked into this, because remember, Wanda didn't just lock her up in the town. She locked her up into that persona. Like she sort of took her memories away or whatever, and so that she just plays Agnes, the next door neighbor. But also, I suspect that we're going to be seeing some flashbacks to her past. But I don't know. But that's the thing. No, we don't really know anything about it except that they're doing this.
Okay. So I right now I'm kind of want to withhold judgment, because right now because I know she's not canonically dead. Wanda's not technically canonically dead, but I just want to see. I kind of just want to withhold judgment of saying if I'm excited or not, because I honestly don't know what this is about just yet. You know what I mean? Because Agatha herself was a cool character,
Hmm.
but I felt like Marvel didn't execute her right towards the end. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I'm kind of withholding holding the little bit of the judgment, just to see. Like, I kind of want to see a trailer before I say I'm excited for it. You
Right.
know what I mean?
No, I hear you. Like, that's the thing about it. This is so early days. I mean, they're really just, they've been, like I said, saying, so and so's joined. They said Aubrey Plaza, who, you know, maybe you know about her, maybe you don't, but she's sort of done comedic stuff in the past too. I'm like, does this mean that we're getting a comedic version of this show? On the other hand, I can also say that I have seen Eric Andre, who again is a comedian. I saw him in this recent in Netflix kind of horror anthology, and he was not a comedian at all in it. He was just an actor. So who knows? But apparently, it's going to be like for one episode, and there's probably going to be a ton of witches in this. So it stands to reason he'll be playing that. I think, honestly, I'm excited for the show only because we've only seen magic from the sorcerer's perspective. Really, we saw a little bit of witch magic in WandaVision, but even Wanda sort of just we saw pew pew magic. I want to see like them do magic in a more interesting way than they have before. And also, Agatha Harkness is super interesting, and we know Catherine Hahn. She kind of kills in that role. And I also wonder if they aren't going to be taking from recent comics in which there's sort of a magical academy, if you will, a magic school for young witches, sorcerers, whatever. I wonder if that's going to be the way they go too. But this is all just damn speculation. The best thing I can say about it is they're adding good people that are actually entertaining. So uh, I say yay to that. And I'm very excited for the show, knowing nothing about it except that we're going to get witches. So maybe it'll fill the Hogwarts, hole in our heart that's kind of left by the crappy movies that they're making over there at Warner Brothers. So we'll see. But it's interesting to see if they're making moves. We're going to continue with more casting news, and this is for us. I would say this may be in my top three things I'm anticipating, comic book things I'm anticipating next year, and that is Across the Spider-Verse, which is a long time coming. Ladi, Into the Spider-Verse came out in 2018, so we're talking about 5 years between the two projects, being completed. That said, we're hearing now that Daniel Kaluuya, who played Wakabi in Black Panther, and he's been in a ton of other things. He's in Get Out. He's just in Nope. a great actor. He's going to be playing Spider-Punk, which we saw like a little. I think we may have seen like a bit of him in the trailer, where he's dressed up like Spider-Man, but he's got like the Union Jack on a little vest, denim vest that he wears, and he's got a spike, going down his head. So he's he's a punk. But in the comics, interestingly, Spider-Punk, you would think like under that, oh, he's a white dude. No, he's a black guy. He's a black British guy, and he has the powers of Spider-Man. And so Daniel Kaluuya, who is British, is going to be doing the voice of that guy. Plus, in addition to that, we don't know any of this for sure, but this is just speculation that they are actually trying to get Toby, Andrew, and or Tom Holland, some version of their Spider-Man into this movie, which is clearly going to be going, all over the multiverse. Ladi, this is two parts. So first, speak to the whole Spider-Punk thing, and after that, we can talk about nerdgasming about about the big three joining up. So Daniel Kaluuya joining up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so first I want to say this is like I've been seeing a lot of people going online talking about how long it's been since Into the Spider-Verse came out. Sony, you need to get on it. And I'm like, guys, Sony is not like other companies. They will take as long as it needs. Sony's sort of like a, what do you call it? They rather release a masterpiece. They like, because it's almost like they're going on their like video game cadence. They'll take 4 or 5 years to make that thing. If it's good, that's all that matters. Because if it's you rather them take a long time and it's good than rush it out and it's not as good as the first one. Because I have a very strong feeling that this movie is going to blow the first one out the water. Second of all, it's cool that they're adding Spider-Punk because you could like real talk. Sony's doing like is playing like 3D chess when it comes to stuff. They're doing like 3D chess when it comes to stuff like this because they're the way they're doing it. Because did you know the Amazing Spider-Man video game on PS4? One of the most wore suits was the Spider-Punk suit.
I remember switching to it. It's cool looking, and
that's what I'm saying.
He has that cool like sonic power. Like it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So Sony is like this, like it's almost like the Amazing Spider-Man video game in Miles Morales was like a testing ground of which Spider-Man should show up into the Spider-Verse 2, basically. Mm-hmm. Because they pretty much added the suits into the game and everything like that. And then for the third part, someone better pick up that phone.
Oh, why?
Because I fucking called it. I knew it. I said, watch. This is all connected. This is the ultimate 3D chess. It's because it's possible now. There's multiverse. You can just do it now. You could put, even though they might not be live action, you can make them animated. You can literally have it that Tom Holland Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, just when they go into the other universes, they turn animated. Because you know why? It's multiverse. There's probably multiverses of us that are animated. You know what I mean? It is multiverse theory. They can do whatever they want. And you know why? It doesn't have to make sense because guess why? Because of multiverse theory. Yeah. So give me all of this. Yes, as much as Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland on the same screen, even if they're just voices, that synergy was too damn electric. And Sony saw that bank. And now they don't have to share that they don't have to share it with Disney with Moneybag Mickey.
Yep. That's very true. No, you're absolutely right there. I just hope that they don't do a thing like they did with, Deadpool when the X-Men were in it, but they just closed the door and like it's just the three of them are just kind of in the lab. They're like, shut the door, and then that's all you ever see of them. I wonder at this. Like, I really want this to be true. I just wonder, are they prepared to make, the second time we see the three of them together and they meet Miles Morales just be in animated? Because let's be honest, way fewer people are going to go watch Across the Spider-Verse than watched, No Way Home. That's just the fact. It's animated. People aren't going to take it seriously. Doesn't matter how much we keep telling people that it's awesome. It's just not going to get the same play. Even if you say, oh, they're all going to be on the same thing, there people are just going to be like, well, it's just a cartoon. So I wonder if they really do want to, have the second time that happens be animated. But I buy that at least one of them will make a voice, make an appearance animated, because it makes sense to me. We're already getting Spider-Man, 2099. We're getting Spider-Punk. We're obviously Gwen is coming back. There's, plenty of other multiverse Spider people that could show up. Why not another Peter Parker? It to me it would be weird if Across the Spider-Verse has no Peter Parker, at least one in it, And so the question is, which one? I'm saying Tom Holland, but any of the other two would be cool too. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see if we're right about this, and also we're gonna find out, if Sony has their own money bag. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what their mascot would be, but
Moneybag Kratos.
I was gonna say Moneybag Sackboy, but okay. Well, yeah, Moneybag Kratos. He's trying to get that bag just like Mickey. So we're gonna see. But we'll let you guys know if we find out more, when we find out more about this. Let's talk about DC. James Gunn and Peter Safran have taken over as of November 1st. Everyone who gives a damn about DC doing well should be cheering, and also just like, really just cheering these guys on, because they are literally, their mandate is to, fix shit and make it work like Marvel. And, who better than James Gunn, really, who's kind of been on the inside of that process. But he took to Twitter, to kind of reassure and say, hey, everyone's been adding me. Like, I don't know how the hell James Gunn is handling his own Twitter account right now. Like, why would you do it? You just became the Feige of DC. All the Snyder stands are adding him all day, every fucking day. His DMs and inbox, it must be awful.
I mean, just look at him. The man looks like somebody that's off the rocker just a little bit. No.
Well, he'd have to be this is, let me just say, taking over as the CEO, co-CEO, co-chairman of DC Film or DC Studios. That's not something that, that's not something you take lightly. They're throwing a lot of money at him, but also they expect results. And given all the baggage and everything that they're having to sort through, God bless them for taking it on. And I'll say, for instance, I'm sure they're ignoring the restore the Snyderverse. Fuck that. But he specifically called out Save Legends of Tomorrow and released the Ayer cut. And I even saw that David Ayer actually was like, just, did hashtag release the Ayer cut last week too. And so, it really calls to mind, like, what James Gunn and Peter Safran, what's their mind about. And one of the things he says is like, we hear you, we hear your fan support. The first thing he does is he doesn't shit on the fans, which I think obviously don't be doing that. Don't be saying this is ridiculous, we're not doing that. And that they're listening and everything. But also he says that they're focusing on the big plan. He said, telling the quote, and it's like capital biggest story ever told across multiple films, TV shows, and animated projects. And when I read that, all I had to say was, "Are they really about to do this?" And I'm not. I'm serious. Are they, Lottie? Are they really about to? Are they really about to try to do the Marvel plan of TV, TV, film, animated, all tying in together, all selling the same big cohesive story? I, I want to say yes. Uh, but and are and also is David Ayer's Suicide Squad, his version of it, is that really something that's going to come about? So, we'll talk about Ayer cut in a second, but given what you read about what he tweeted and everything, one is that what they're trying to do? Are they really trying to do the Marvel thing for real? For real? Like, are they going to do a big whiteboard like you see on the memes that has all the connections? And also, does this give you confidence that they made the right choice about who to run things?
Only thing that I'll say this is that I don't. I'll say it's a little too early for them to do this, to do that. First, you got to release a Superman 2 first. Like, you can't. I hate. First, you. Here's the thing this is what I want DC to understand. You have to walk before you run. It took Marvel almost 10 years to do this. You are running your own pace. You've came out with decent little wins here and there. Focus on that right now and worry about all the other stuff later. Because like I said, if you first make good movies on a consistent basis first. Don't worry about TV shows. Release animated stuff every so often. You know what I mean? But focus on the movie side first. Because, like I said, we haven't seen we haven't seen a Superman 2 yet. We haven't even seen a Green Lantern movie. We haven't seen a Cyborg movie. We haven't seen anything with. We saw Hawkman just out of nowhere. Where's Hawk Girl? You know what I mean? They haven't explained the Martian Manhunter. There's so much stuff that DC needs to focus on just a little bit first before they start doing the whole Marvel, going everywhere.
I think that all of that stuff you just mentioned, like, that is a legacy from a previous regime, and they don't have to pay attention to it if they don't want to. Which I'm going to say, because James Gunn has kind of worked within that framework, I don't think he's going to throw all of that away. But all that stuff, some of that stuff is Snyder stuff, and it's not super important that they stick with it. And also, I have to say, I disagree a bit in the sense that they need to actually lay out a plan for. I'm not saying that they got to be like, we're going to have this movie, that movie, this movie, that. No, what they really need to figure out is what's the overall story that's being played out, in the DC universe, and what stories need to be told in order to actually, what character story need to be told in order to actually get to the end of that story. When you talk about Marvel, they were telling the Infinity Saga. We didn't know that, but they were, and they had to figure out that we know where we're going to end. We have this whole thing over the Infinity Gauntlet. How do we get there? And which characters need a movie or something to tell how they become a part of it later on, how they are a part of this big epic. And so that's really kind of way they need to go about it, because Feige had a general plan about where they wanted to go, and as the year, they put one thing out, they put, as you said, put one foot in front of the other. They started getting close to that. Now it became more involved. So I absolutely want them to figure out, what is this story that you're trying to tell about the wider DC universe, and who all needs to be involved in it. Who needs a movie? Who needs a TV show? What's an animated project that can kind of flesh it all out? Because that's where we're going with all of this, is multi-platform storytelling that all ties back together. So I think that they ought to be doing that. but to your point, if they aren't looking saying we need Superman immediately, then I don't think these are the right people for the job. Because Superman absolutely needs to be front and center of this whole movement. And you're right about Green Lantern. You're right about all of that. They've got to get their big guns. They need to be out front, and immediately. I just don't think they need to care as much about the legacy stuff that's going on, unless they want to, unless it makes sense. So I mean, as I said, they are approaching it that way, and I also think that they doing the right thing with the fans, like saying, "Hey, we're listening to you," because they listened to the fucking Snyder stand, and look what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Only thing I just hope they don't try to start working on all this stuff all at once. And just first get the foundation built first before you start doing everything else. You got to hit with Batman. So start with you don't have a foundation. You have stilts right now. You have a stilt with Batman. You have a stilt with Joker, and you have a stilt with Superman slash. You had a stilt with Henry Cavill being Superman. And of course, you have another still with Black Adam slash.
Maybe.
Uh,
I'm gonna say maybe about that.
no, I said no. I'm talking about Black Adam slash. What's that dude's name?
Shazam.
Shazam. You
And
know
you
what I
got
mean?
Wonder Woman, of course, but I mean, they look. I think the thing is that they obviously have the big hitters, and they gotta focus on. I just think that I commend the whole we're listening to you and everything, but like I have to be honest, and as a fan, don't fucking listen to us.
Yeah.
Like seriously, do not listen to us. We don't know what we want. But think about Marvel, and they were like, we're gonna do Guardians of the Galaxy. First of all, I was all for it, but most people didn't know who the hell they were. And if we had asked the fans, their fans were like, "Why the fuck are y'all doing that?" Right? That we don't want that. And it turns out we were wrong. Surprise, Ladi. How many times have us fans been like, "This is gonna be trash," and we're completely wrong, or like, "We don't want that," and then we get like we're wrong. We're wrong all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And I say
Yeah.
that as a fan that's sitting here talking about this stuff as a fan. Don't listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what we want. We'll know it when we see it. And I'm trusting because James Gunn's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's going to collaborate with a lot of good creators, and hopefully he and Safran will have as much story and control as Feige does, so we won't get mediocre shit. But don't listen to us. We're not a good and reliable source of success. And in fact, I will even say comic book fans are not at all useful. Like at all. We're not. When have we been right about anything about any of these things? We've been right in retrospect. We'd be like, "Oh well, I knew." No, we didn't. We didn't. Everyone thought that Marvel Studios couldn't work because they didn't have X-Men and Fantastic Four, right? And Spider-Man. Remember that? Remember before Iron Man? We thought no way it can work. Like y'all don't have all the big guns, and so we're wrong. Like just don't listen to us, like at all. Anyway, this does lead me to the next thing I want to talk about, which is, do you think that this release the air cut shit's gonna work? And or more to the point, should they even entertain the idea? Hashtag release the air cut. And I will say, the original Suicide Squad movie, I liked that movie. I know a lot of people didn't. I liked it. Enough people liked it that made money, made a good amount of money. But a lot of people think it's crap. I think it's pretty cool actually. But there's a David Ayer's version of it wasn't the one that got released, and he's released the Ayer cut. So should they do it? Is my question.
Me? You asking me? No.
Yeah.
Well, there's a cut for everything. Stop it. That Ayer cut, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with you. That movie, I didn't like that movie. There's only two parts of that movie I liked. Was them playing Kalani when what's her name got dropped into the acid. You know what I mean? Besides that, James Gunn did a way more phenomenal job with that movie, man. I'm just being 100% honest. No, 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 no. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Dude, some of the actors of the movie even want it to exist.
Oh, I mean, they'll want it because they'll get paid again. That's the beauty of it is, as an
Well,
actor, no work, you still got to get paid. You get paid more for when this other version comes out.
what is this? Are they gonna release a cut of every movie? Hey, I want the Sony cut of No Way Home.
Uh-huh.
I want the Disney cut. I want the Mickey
And
cut. I want the what is it? What's the if end game, the end
yeah,
game cut with Nova in it, the
yeah,
Nova cut. I want that cut. If we're gonna ask for cut of every movie, I want the original cut of the original Spider-Man movie. Give me the original cut. Like, let's not stop there. Let's go back to Blade. Let's go back to the original
yeah.
Blade. Let's go get the original cut of that movie. Just stop it. Stop it, guys.
You have basically hit on why the Snyder Cut's bad. Not because it is in and of itself bad, the movie. I'm not saying that. I think it's fine. What's bad about the Snyder Cut is the giving in to fans, which I remind you, we are not good. We're not a good source of ideas. We're not. We are bad. Okay, we got the Snyder Cut. Cool. Was it so much better than the original that all the fucking effort that went into it was necessary? Think about it. Took they for years and years and years, and it's only because HBO Max was a thing that we even got the Snyder Cut. And having watched it, I don't see that it was worth all that fucking effort.
It was weird. The
Nope.
only
Yeah.
part that I do completely agree, was Josh Whedon was dumb to not have that part with the Flash. That in my opinion was inexcusable. But everywhere else of that movie was not that good. Because I'm watching this one comparison video. It's literally the theaters took 30 to 40 seconds off that scene. Thank God. This is just wasted time.
Yeah.
Like,
But what I'm getting at is, again, we fans are not a source of wisdom. Don't fucking listen to us. Like, as a fan, don't listen to us. The Ayer cut, like, I understand, David Ayer, he wants to see his version of the movie be the one that's released. Let me just tell you, every director wants their version to be released. Every single director wants their particular version of it to be released. That's not always going to happen because their version, for whatever reason, may be bloated or it just doesn't work for test audiences, etc., etc. There's all sorts of reasons why that doesn't happen. It's not necessarily a bad thing or some kind of, plot by the studio to sabotage or any of that. There other nefarious could just very very well mean that the theatrical version that comes out, that's the one that tested the best. That's it. Um, so what's this going to add more time, more scenes or whatever? I mean, yeah, it could be better, but it continues to reinforce a bad precedent, which is fans demanding certain cuts because they're dissatisfied with the outcome. And back in my day, Sonny, with my cane and yelling at kids to get off my lawn. Back in my day, the the only cut you got was whatever the fuck went into the theater, and that was it. And you had to be happy with that. And if it wasn't to your liking, oh well, it's just a movie that you don't like. Get on with it. But this whole let's go back and relitigate the past shit has got to stop. Like we can't be doing this. So as much as the fans of the Ayer cut may exist and they really want it, I really hope that they don't succeed because we don't need any more of this. Like you said, release the whatever cut. We don't need more of that in fandom. Enough. Let's just whatever comes out, that's what it is, and we have to live with whatever the hell it is, even if it sucks. There may be a cut of Morbius that's awesome. I don't want it to come out because we need to stop doing this shit. So,
Man, I mean, what? The movie wasn't that. I'm just be honest with you. The movie was average at best. It was average at best.
mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you think all of a sudden it's gonna be an S tier production now? All of a sudden,
I mean,
no.
I think that's the idea that like people that are dissatisfied with the version that came out, they want a better version of. They really are invested in
the better version came out last year. Move on.
No, what I'm talking about for Suicide Squad, they just want the better version, and I understand that. I just don't like the precedent that this sets, that they're gonna that every time a movie you don't like comes out, it comes out. Now you want to cry about the director's cut needs to be. I mean, get out of here. Wait till the fucking DVD. Wait till the special edition steelbook comes out, and you have your damn director's cut if they feel like doing it. Like,
but here's the thing. This is what I think. This is the one thing I do have to agree that DC just needs to stop. You have your Joker. Stop this. Stop. You have your Joker. Why are you going to release another Joker?
Moneybag Joker. That's why.
What is it? It's not going to make you any money.
Look, they're trying to get that bag. I can guarantee you, Joker 2 is gonna make plenty of bang for them.
I'm not talking about Joker 2. I'm talking about why. No, I'm talking about you already have your Joker.
Oh,
why are you releasing this Ayers cut with another Joker?
Oh, true. This is true.
Bury that.
Exactly. Okay, I get what you're saying. No, yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Like, why?
and I guarantee it's going to cost money to make the Ayer cut happen, just like the Snyder cut. Like, there's nothing to gain in this situation. Zero to gain, nothing but money to lose.
OMG. I'm looking at the thing. Like, I'm looking at one person put, like, bringing up, like, old tweets from, like these Twitter people talking about how much, like, just talking about these people. All of you guys were talking so much shit about Jared Leto back in 2016. Now all of a sudden you want to see him on the screen again? Stop it. This is, like you said, this is fandom menace at its finest. But now people got receipts because y'all were talking shit about the dude. Y'all literally hated him as Joker. Now all of a sudden you're saying, oh, his Joker's the most violent. Oh, look how violent he is in the Ayer cut.
Yeah, it's just like I said, just get out of here. Like, no, say no to the Ayer cut, and that's no disrespect to David Ayer. I'm sure he had a great vision and everything. I just say let's just say no. Let's stop this trend before it becomes an actual trend. So anyway, moving on from that very long one. This final bit. I think this is something that we can really dig into. I saw a tweet, someone talking about, no, they should make an R-rated Superman. And I saw various people responding to that. Comic book creators who've actually drawn and or written Superman. And most of them, by and large, I'd say the vast majority were like, hell no. Why would you? Why should you? And I thought this would be an interesting thing for us to talk about. Ladi, we know the Man of Steel. the Boy Scout. He wears his underwear on the outside of his pants. He's the man of tomorrow. He is the exemplar. He is the one that everyone looks to as not just for leadership, but also to always do the right thing. He's the savior of humanity, etc., etc., etc. You know what I'm talking about. R-rated, and we saw Snyder's version and so forth. Should they make a Superman movie R-rated? Go.
Listen, man, this is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes about Superman. Superman is not grounded, guys. Get over it. Superman is not a grounded superhero. Please.
He's not grounded, but he is based. I've heard that's what the kids say.
Oh my goodness. Why? What do you want Superman to do? Punch through somebody's chest? If you're making a good Superman movie, he's fighting people that are just as strong as him, who have invulnerability just as good as him.
Or he's fighting someone who is like tissue paper to him, but has power in some other way, like Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor doesn't always have a green, kryptonite suit on. Sometimes he's just a guy that's evil. And Superman never, at no point does he ever try to murder him.
See, here's the thing, man. I just hate this. I'm talking about this with my friend Anthony. That there was this following that was happening over the summer where people were saying, stop making Superman godly or Jesus-like. And like this dude made this video that got like millions of views. And he was just trying to make all these points. And I literally commented on his video and says, do you know anything? Like, are you not intelligent? And I was like, you know what El means, right? El means God. The creator of Superman was Jewish, so he knows Hebrew. He specifically named Superman Kal-El. El, anytime you see the name El at the end of any name, it means God, some form of God. Jor-El means God's wisdom. Kal-El means, I forgot what it is. I think Kal-El means God's protector or something like that. Basically, he was saying that that Superman from the very beginning, from the first comic book, is a godly protector. Superman is supposed to be this beyond person. He's not supposed to be grounded. He's supposed to be over the top. Why? What's the point of making it rated R? He's not Kratos. He's not what's the dude's name? He's not Spawn. Superman fights godly beings that have invulnerability. Superman doesn't punch people and make them splatter into dust. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, why? Like, what is wrong? This is the problem with DC. Here's the problem with DC. Their fans are weird. DC fans are weird. They really are.
You know what? I don't know about all. I think that there's several things going on with people having this attitude. Do you know a lot of people be like, man, I don't really care much. I prefer Batman. I don't care. I used to be that guy until I started reading Superman comics, and I was like, oh my God, I was 100% wrong. Because, I grew up, every kid knows Superman. They know what he's about. He's, like I said, the Boy Scout and everything. It seems very boring to simple-minded people. Yes, if I'm insulting you, I'm sorry, but if you think that that's all Superman's about, you are simple. You are seeing the exterior, and you are not looking deeper into what's going on with this character. Mm-hmm. You're right. He's godlike. It's a man that's godlike and could rule the planet. In fact, we see all these evil. We did a show about evil Superman, like way at the beginning of the Supercast. All the evil Superman, right? The alternate Superman. How many of them are bad? How many of them are like, I'm gonna run this, I'm running the planet. I'm gonna murder everyone who's in my way. Omni-Man, right? Yeah. Hyperion. Sentry. They're fucked up in some way or another, and they essentially terrorize the planet because they're
Yeah.
godlike power. And Superman, that they are not Superman. That's the one thing to keep in mind. They aren't him. They are a reaction to the Superman mythos of people trying to
Yeah.
say, what if Superman went bad? But that's the thing. Superman doesn't go bad because that's not Superman. Even Injustice
Yeah.
Superman isn't really, he's not really Superman.
Yeah.
And so, why, in what world would he be R rated? You got a man, this is a dude who can fly into the sun and not die, right? Who can hear, pins drop across the world, who, all this other stuff. And at no point does he try to smash through somebody or rip their heart out or tear them apart. He's not Homelander. Why does anyone want, like I said, this whole move to quote, make him grounded, to make him more realistic, to make him more edgy, is from simple-minded people who have, for whatever reason, want cynicism to rule the day. That's not what Kal-El is about. He's about the best of us. He's about a godlike being who walks among us and doesn't lord his power over us, but instead is constantly trying to save. He's trying to better the world. He could rule the world, but instead he wants the world to be, to be ruled by the people that live there. And he's just there to try, to fend off the darkness. And no way in hell do I ever want to see him R-rated. No. If I want to see R-rated, quote, Superman, I'll just watch The Boys. But the Superman I want to see, the one that I thought I was too cool for back in the day, that I finally had to read and really understand what was going on, he is the best of us. And there's no way you're the best of us if you're doing R-rated shit.
See, here's the thing: the people who want to see an R-rated Superman and do bad stuff are the same people that say Naruto, the character of Naruto is the flattest shonen character. Those are the same type of people because they don't like seeing a character that has all this power and but chooses to be good. People don't like to see that because in some form or fashion they look and imagine how they would be if they had all that power. But Naruto and Superman made the conscious decision at a young age to be good people. Even when the world didn't care for them, they still chose to be good. And that's what makes their characters amazing because they weren't good because of, some plot. They were actually, the character itself chose to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what makes their characters good. And I root for Superman. I root to see whenever Superman struggles in a fight, it makes me root for him more because he's a good guy. Same thing with Naruto. You know what I mean? That's why I love Superman. You know what I mean? And many people, even Batman, puts their insecurities onto Superman because they know somewhere in the back of their mind they may not be as good of a person if they had Superman's powers.
Yeah, and which really makes I think people are distrustful of
Yeah.
because no one wants to believe that anyone's altruistic or really that good. Like they know you're like you said, if I had that power, I'd be ruling the world. That's the sort of thinking that people are doing, and that's because he's an aspirational figure. Yeah, would you say the same thing about other godlike figures in other kind of stories like Jesus or the Buddha or whatever? They are godlike, and yet their whole thing is like not to lord that power over people, but to use it for the good of mankind. And I think that's the cynicism that people, and this may be a consequence of like the times we live in. Yeah, it feels like all the time we're in these times, but people really don't want to trust each other. They don't want to trust the good in each other. They don't want to believe that someone who doesn't look like them is actually a human being that might actually, want what's good for other people. They just don't believe that other people, can be good. And Superman really challenges that. Like Superman as a character challenges that, and we all know that. And people trying to poke holes in, or somehow bring some kind of kryptonite into that to try to tear that myth down. It's a sad and cynical act, but it doesn't work. And that the thing is I don't think they'll ever do it, because I think anybody that is in charge of DC anywhere ever have to know that you can't do that to Superman. Not just you can't, they wouldn't want to, because it will betray the character. I know James Gunn has done he's had characters that are, pretty fucked up, but he'll never make Superman like that, because I know that he has too much respect for that character to allow such a thing to happen. And I think that any self-respecting comics fan, shouldn't want it to be like that. Should never want it to be like that. And so I'll again reiterate, no. Can they? Sure they can. Should they? Hell no. There's no R-rated Superman ever. And if they do, I can't support that. So, and Ladi, I must assume you say the same.
Yes.
So there you go. There's the definitive statement. No R-rated Superman. So anyway, well, that was fun. But that was all our news and everything for this week. What did you guys think about what we had to say? Did we leave some things out? We not talk about things you think we should have talked about? Get down to the comment section. Let us know your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up. supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And of course, you can get down there and hit the subscribe button. Join the Super Not Funny Show family. Hit that like button. Helps people to see more of these videos. And the notification bell will let you know when we drop new content. We do reviews. And of course, this podcast. And of course, I can't do this by myself. Ladi helps me out tremendously. So Ladi, where can they find you on social media?
Well, you can always find me on my Instagram, which is Anu Kinihun, is ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. And of course, you could also find me on my YouTube channel, which is Kinihun25.
Yep.
Uploading content. So I probably will start playing God of War soon, the new God of War when it comes out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
look out for gameplay for that if you want to watch the playthrough.
I forgot that was coming out soon. I'm surprised you're not doing the Batman, the Arkham Knights thing. Or maybe I'm not surprised. But
nah.
Well, that's something for another time, I know. But you guys go check out Ladi's socials and show some love. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining us on the 75th episode of the Supercast. Come back next week. You know what we're going to be talking about. It's all going to be about, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So come join us then. Till then, I've been Mode Poupée, your resident fabricant and comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.